Well, hello everybody. It's good seeing you again. You're out and about with John, and we're down here in Kalama, and we're sitting near the old office at the Port of Kalama. We're just off the rail slightly, and we're kind of more on the river. And I was looking downriver there at Kalama Export, and I noticed that the Daniel Foss looks like it's just sitting on the side waiting for some work there. So I figure there might be a ship coming in. And if that's the case, we'll wait for the ship work to get done, and then we'll wait for the Daniel Foss to roll on by. And after we get some footage of the Daniel Foss, we'll head over to the rails, get some railroad footage. So, in between now and then, we'll just kind of hang tight. I got a good story I want to tell you. The story's called The Naked Truth. So, stick around. We got a good story coming up. We'll be right back. Alright, well, we're still keeping an eye on the river, and we might just sneak over to the rails and possibly deviate from our original plan. But one thing we're not going to deviate from is the story that I promised you. And this happened a little while back. It was back when the weather was warmer around here. Of course, we're kind of sitting in winter right now in the Pacific Northwest. So, here's the deal. I was down in Portland. I was at Kelly Point Park, and I was shooting around the Columbia Grain facility. And I was out on the beach there one night. And usually when you have a ship that's going to be assisted out of Columbia Grain, or really any grain terminal or any port facility or dock in the area, it usually takes 2 tugboats. Well, one of the tugs had showed up, and I was waiting on the other tug to roll on in. And at that point, they would make up to the ship, and the job would get underway. But with only one tug on the site, we had a little bit of a wait. But what's interesting, when you go down to Kelly Point Park and you're near Columbia Grain, I would estimate, is roughly 150 to 200 yards up the Willamette River from Kelly Point. So it makes for good footage, but there's also a little distance between the grain facility and the park itself. So I just kind of heard of the thud, so I'm going to look over here and see what's going on. It must have been somebody crossing the overpass. But anyhow, getting back to my story. It was a summer night, and it was pretty warm, and I was over at Kelly Point Park, and it was on one of those rare occasions where I was shooting on the night side, because usually in the summer the sun doesn't go around, or, well, it does. Yeah, it doesn't come around here till about July, but the sun usually doesn't set till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So I was out on the beach waiting for the ship work to kick off. One of the boats had showed up. And the thing I noticed with this boat was that it kept drifting towards Kelly Point Park as opposed to the grain terminal. And it kept getting closer and closer and closer. And pretty soon it got to where I could look up into the wheelhouse of the boat. And, you could see the boat operator and the crew, and pretty soon I see a pair of binoculars, and it's coming out and scanning the beach and scanning the beach. This is interesting. And no sooner than that they were scanning the beach, all of a sudden the horn from the boat, I heard it goes, brrrr. And here's the part, and I kid you not, if I'm lying, I'm dying, but there was a large log stump washed up on the beach, and this gal, she was behind the log, and I guess I would assume the guys on the boat maybe could see her, but I couldn't, because she's behind the log. But sure as you guys are watching right now on the internet, this gal comes walking out from behind that log, and she's naked as the day she was born. And I got a glimpse of this gal, and I'm thinking, okay, now I'm in a heck of a situation now, because I'm on the beach and my intent is to shoot river traffic and ship work, and now I got this naked gal who's on the beach, and I got a video camera, and I'm thinking, oh man, what in the heck am I gonna do? So what I did was I shut my camera off once I spotted her, and to avoid any awkward situations, I let her know, well, the camera's off and I'm here to shoot river footage, and as long as I keep my camera on the river and not on you, would you have a problem with me shooting video footage? And she was cool about it. She says, nah, hey, go ahead, I know you gotta get your shots and gotta get your footage. And she was absolutely cool with having a camera in the area. And as the job went on and I got my footage, I would kind of, I'd talk with her and different things at points, and she was there with her significant other. He had his clothes on, but they were a real interesting couple. But that's the story behind The Naked Truth, and now you know why I call it The Naked Truth. A side note about this story, something to keep in mind, and it's something I didn't tell you straight out of the gate, was that in Oregon, there are no indecent exposure laws. Here in Washington State, you got to keep your clothes on. Down in California, and California of all places, you got to keep your clothes on. But I guess in the state of Oregon, as long as you're not doing anything lewd, you can be out and about in public, and you can be naked as the day you're born, and evidently that's kosher with lawmakers. So just a little information there. They say, well, the slogans for the city of Portland that I don't know. I take that back. I don't know if it's really affiliated with the city of Portland, but one of the kind of the things that's said by the people, and you'll see bumper stickers, is that you'll see the slogan, "Keep Portland Weird." And I have to say, Portland was plenty weird on that day. They were sure living up to that slogan. So that's my little ditty. I hope you all enjoyed it, and we're going to probably head over to the rails and see if anything's going on.